What's up, boys? As promised, this is the game with the Searing Needle, the level 48 dagger in our main hand with the icy weapon enchant against some of my friends from APES on the alliance side, playing with some of our powers on the fat horde right here. No hunter, double shaman blaster comp is what you guys are going to watch today. So with another hunter right here for the scouting pressure, we are going to have to get into mid and utilize these shamans properly by getting a nice sap onto anyone we can essentially find. Priest or warlock, of course, would be preferred on this rogue with roughly 600 attack power, plenty of blue items, 3 trinkets to our name. It will be a black hands, a hodge, and a gnomish net-o-matic projector. So popping the sprint right here nice and early. We avoid the mind vision by stealthing early there from our graveyard. Gonna get a nice pre-vanish now to avoid any kind of stealth detection shenanigans like track hidden, paranoia, cat's eye goggles, cat's eye elixirs, which will be up on most of these boys right here. We don't have any of those left for ourselves. We don't even have heavy runecloth bandages. So Rumba here missing his timing by about 15 seconds to find our druid. We'll be moving back into his team right there. We don't manage to get a sap onto him, but Parla steps out for 1 second, and that's all we need. Never give me a window. There it is, the big sap, baby, into the second sap, because CYC, we see on the left side of the screen, has been sapped too, so we will need to stop purging Parla, get a second sap onto him right there. No AoEs coming down from their team because they assume the rogue has potentially vacated the area. Valkyros, of course, vacated his area, so there's no way they're going to assume I'm still there, but I am still there. There it is. Intercept comes down into the Frost Nova. MS comes down as well. Shadowburn, Chain Lightning. Down goes Parla. We will stealth right here, boys, for an extra few seconds just to avoid getting seen by Drig. So swapping now onto the gnomish rocket boots. We are not going to go for the MC cap right here. Instead, we are going to go for the rocket helmet, even though it has a 1 minute and 30 second longer cooldown, because this will be potentially a late connection onto Krill right here. So he's missed his timing for ramp, which does mean he will be going to graveyard. So we turn our camera right here. We do see him on the graveyard, catch Parla there in the sap. He almost gets into combat onto Drig, who's called into combat from that corruption. Does have to pop his boots. He will not be mounting right there. Weatherman in combat as well, pops his boots too. Our shaman right here coming back as well with the boots. There is no time for 3 seconds, boys. We cannot mount up, and we hit the timing perfectly. There is the skull onto Krill. Immediately trinkets our cheap shot into the fat purges, though, coming down. We pre-will the fear right here, trying to keep these noggins up to avoid getting dispelled on our FAP. Unfortunately, though, it does get dispelled pretty late. We try to gouge Valkor's Vanish right there for the self-pill, but it is not enough, and we are now stuck into this Frost Nova right here. We need to avoid the damage from toes. Don't have much health to play with. We need to get a couple seconds of blind off onto him, assuming his team aren't going to cleanse him immediately, but they do, because there is just so much pressure from the alliance peelers right here, and now we just need to deal with toes. Accept the fact that Krill has got through right there. It's absolutely fine. Sometimes these things do happen. It is what it is. So Flubber now caught into a sap, which does mean we are going to have to start posturing right here. We do not have buffs or mana to play with. Alliance, of course, being that more attrition side, do have the extra mana to play with from all of the abilities they have to keep mana up, blessing and wisdom, etc. Parla has respawned as well right now, giving his team full buffs, full mana, and we do need to kill this team right here, guys, because they are way ahead in the mana, health, and buff game. So we posture just that little bit right here. We could go up to the roof area, but it is not worth it. We do not want to be found by Slicey with that track hidden, assuming he does start to come down tunnel, but Slicey also wants to avoid getting sapped, so we're not going to assist in this fight right here. We do not want Slicey to know where we are. We want to keep him on that roof area. If he knows we are in mid, he will leave the roof area and come and farm us in that mid area, and we will be down a man on that offense because we do not have a hunter on the defense. This is a 6-4 offense team. Double shaman on that offense, incredibly potent, and our defense will be just 2 mages, a priest, and a druid. So right here we do see CYC and Abe getting taken down right there. CYC took a massive frostbolt. I've got to point that one out to you guys right here, and now Flubber will be going down too. His boots did backfire, and we're just going to give Slicey a nice long spawn right here. We did get a nice cheap shot there onto the Feign, and here is the finisher onto Slicey, taking his insignia right now, of course, so he can't come back. So moving to the graveyard right now, guys, to get a fat sap onto the hunter of Slicey. You can see on our stealth bar we do not have access to that PvP trinket, so definitely playing the game on hard mode. Need to do whatever we can to slow this Alliance defense down, since we don't have many cross CCs available to us in the form of trinkets and extra items and whatnot. Even connection rate is a little bit slow, so anything we can do to keep this Alliance defense at bay, we need to utilize. Slicey now, not assuming we're at the graveyard to sap him because he doesn't have that flare down. Pops the track hidden though right there with the Cat's Eye Elixir as well, and the goggles on. We're going to see right here, it's going to properly help him out because his pet does actually find us right here, the pet of Baguette. The cat getting us out. A bit of a misplay there by us is what it is. We have to vanish it off. A nice flare by Slicey though to take us out, stick us in that scan. A little bit of a camera shake right there from us boys in disbelief and disgust, but to be fair, Slicey did a great job right there to get us out. So we're going to unfortunately eat a huge 30-second rest time here. Maybe a bit of an overkill title. A little bit of a BM title there from Slicer, like saying, yeah, bitch, I got you. Is what it is, though. We are going to time Slicey's title in the chat. I know you guys can't see that in the video right now. We've timed it to 1:02. And top of the screen right now, if you look, guys, Krill has in fact dropped the flag. According to the boys, they said Krill attempted to stealth, and Abe managed to jump on him and get that return. So we're going to shift our attention away from connecting on this Druid when he jumps down from the roof area straight into the mid to try and catch some reses right here. We do see Drig Mountain right there. We are going to use the rock here as line of sight to block his vision just a little bit and get a nice little sprint sap onto him before he potentially gets us out. And right here, guys, we're going to run way ahead of Krill to maybe make Drig think twice about blocking that sap before we get a gouge onto Krill. Of course, we cannot sap him because he's in that travel form. This isn't BFA. Trying to get a crippling poison down there onto Parlor. He does unfortunately resist it. The nature resistance from the MOTW helping him out right there. We give him a 2-second kidney into the net. Gouge onto Chitty to protect the blind. Cover the blind onto Rumba right there. He is, of course, cleansed though immediately. A bubble onto Chitty, gouge DR onto Krill. Trying to keep Toes slowed right here with a blind just to get a little bit of a connection rate onto him. But unfortunately, there's so many CCs into us. Bash, Cone of Cold, Frost Nova, Goblin, Mortar, Drig keeping us slowed right here. We can't even get any peels here onto the heals. Not even worth at this point going for grenades. There's just no way we're going to get any connection whatsoever. And ironically, guys, that little whiff, that little misplay by Krill is going to benefit the Alliance team in the sense that they can get the flag through because they have so many cooldowns. Skipping ahead just a little bit now because Krill managed to make it to his roof. Checking out party frames consistently, we see SBE caught into a rocket helm right here, an improved kick onto Postman Per, into the fear on SBE. No Will of the Forsaken for that. Crippling poisons do come down. Fear is dispelled, so we're going to get into a situation right here where it could be a repick. One of our shamans is going to be jumping down here, keeping the Tranapatomism in line of sight so it cannot be killed by the ones from the roof side. Very intelligent play from our shaman right here. Trying to get some purges off here onto Krill as he moves back to the back of roof area. We are going to equip our Skull of Impending Doom right here, guys, as our priest and our warrior do come through. A little bit of a feral charge right there onto our offense as EYB connects with that intercept. EM comes down from Flubber, dispels onto the node from CYC, trying to get a fear off. Psych is going to pop this lip to try and get a sheep onto EYB, but no cover on that means it's going to be instantly dispelled into a cross kick from Abe. So now this does mean we're going to be moving into a position to get the Druid because he will be jumping with that cross kick from the dispel onto the lip. Gouge onto Parlor means going to stop him in his tracks. Purges onto Krill. Frost Shock does come down. Doesn't matter though because crippling is up because there is no FAP. Shadow Reflector will not save you here. Some cross kick onto Parlor. Mass amount of damage coming out right now. Sapper comes down. Connection rate. The Shadow Burn 2 and the Chain Lightning from our Shaman. Taking down Krill right there for the 1-0. We do need to get a sap on. Slicey here is not in combat. We're going to ask for the dispel here from CYC. We are not in the voice comms for this game. Unfortunately, though, he is going to be drinking. Sees us a little bit late, which means we're not going to be able to catch the sap onto Slicey and give him a nice 60 seconds out of the game. No worries, though, whatsoever. We will give him a 30-second spawn either way right here, guys. Keeping these noggin foggers up, swapping to whatever items we have available. It looks like our mouse movements are so erratic. We can't believe what items we actually have. Toes getting a fast pick as well. Both teams here want to posture and get into mid as fast as possible. Postman Per on a long respawn, sharing that respawn with Krill. SBEE on 500 health and 200 mana. Essentially also dead as well, considering he has no mana whatsoever. We are going to be stealthing out of the tunnel area so the enemy team does not know where we are and get a nice connection onto the Druid. And right here, boys, I want to point something out. I do see that I can connect onto the Druid here and get us a 5-second, 6-second window to connect onto this guy. So I type in the raid warning, I can, assuming the boys are going to be listening here. We check the map real quick. It looks like the boys are just about in position to be on their mounts and connect to us. Sap onto Slice here, gouge onto Chitty, nade onto Parla is going to be resisted. No worries though. Helm onto Krill just for that little 4 to 5 second window to connect, but unfortunately the boys are going to be peeling for cryo on that druid. So this is what happens, guys. Sometimes, you know, when you're not in those voice comms, you can blow your load just that little bit early. No worries though, we will adapt to the next situation. Moving to the connector area right here, we're going to be jumping up and down just to find out when Krill will be jumping right here. It does seem like we've got 2 boys down, so not many boys jumping. So it does seem like we're going to MC Cat Parlor into the gouge now, onto Krill. Mortar comes down, Shaman's casting, Priest is coming up for the fear, lock connects with the coil into the spell lock, into the Shadow Burn, and down he goes. Down he goes from the 6-4 offense team of this horde. Just insane amounts of pump right there from the guys. Swapping now onto our original helm. I don't even know what it is. It's either a blue or an epic. Can't be a very good item though whatsoever. Fast repicks now. Fast picks, sorry, from Toes and EYB. And our situation right here is going to be connecting now onto the druid, trying to keep Slicey and Krill at bay for as long as possible, assuming our team is healthy enough with our double shamans. One of them didn't even use EM right there, so he can be very potent against Toes. So if we can just keep the druid here, keep the hunter here for as long as possible. Very uncomfortable situation there for the druid to be in. He hates being in that environment, so we kept him there for a nice long amount of time. Managed to catch the res as well, so we pissed them off enough that they were able to kill us. Didn't have to sapper ourselves there to suicide. So right now, getting onto this res, we're going to avoid any kind of CC here from Valkor. Just a little bit of a range check there with the above camera, and we're going to use the bush right here to jump into stealth. Potentially give the guys in Alliance a little bit of a mind game so they can't see where we are. Sap onto Psyche is going to be immediately blocked with a gouge onto Parlo, opening gouge instead of cheap shots, so he cannot kick that. Sorry, he cannot trinket that. We're going to kick Mithy right here, and there's a lot of CCs now onto the boys. But the AoE damage is just not going to be enough. There is a helm onto Maripupa, a helm onto CYC, a sheep onto Flubber. There was a blind onto Abe. Both of our mages are essentially dead. SBE is alive, but he's completely oom, and it does look like we will not be connecting right there. It was such a fast jump from Krill and an insane connection from the massive pumper horde team that the Alliance team still had access to all of their rocket helms and plenty of crowd control cross CC to keep us locked down right there. So even with the cross CC that we did right there, it wasn't enough. Even Psych there with a block for our sap. So right now, a little bit of a fight in mid does mean that we are going to try and catch Psych here on the graveyard, popping the rocket boots into stuff so he cannot see us, so he feels completely safe. We're going to delay our opener right here. It's okay if our Tauren Shaman takes a big sheep. Doesn't matter whatsoever. Delaying our opener right here onto Psych. Late sap, so we make sure this sheep does break before sap breaks. Sheep does have the tendency to last a little bit longer than that sap, keeping this mage prisoner right here until our shaman does escape the sheep. Checking party frames, checking map the whole time, making sure our boys are doing the right thing. Delayed gouge onto Psyche is going to catch his blink, and now he will have a nice 21-second time. And taking his insignia right there, so no shenanigans from him coming back on the respawn. And right here, guys, what you want to do is you want to go and sap the mage on the graveyard, but it is not what we will be doing because the boys on Alliance did the right move of keeping our offense still in mid, so we can't connect while we kept Psyche prisoner. So we're going to skip a little bit ahead, don't want you guys to waste time watching that. Krill though will be jumping very, very early here. Huge mind game from the Swede. Does mean it's going to be very difficult for us to connect. We try and get the distract down. It's not as potent as it is on private servers. Was on private servers. Can't even get the blind off. Krill will make it at the top of roof as Psyche staying with him now, giving us a big sheep. Of course, Shamans cannot dispel, so we are going to be sitting in this sheep until CYC can connect with us. I guess the small positive to take away from this, guys, is we do have control now of the outside of connector area. Slicey will be very, very delayed. Going for the gouge right here, checking the map. We realize at the end right there that it should have been a good idea to blind him after he dodged our gouge, but we checked the map just a little bit too late, so Slicey managed to get out of range with that cheater. No worries though, don't get the blind onto him. And what we need to do right here, guys, is we need to find our way into the tunnel area and try and catch Krill, assuming he jumps down from the fence. So the boys drinking up here, getting the buffs back up. Could potentially be a repick as there is an exposed deep wounds, a hamstring, and an MS onto Cryod right here. So the boys are just sitting down, getting their buffs up, making sure they can cover a repick before they go out here and push onto the fence. So here we go, EYB connecting, scatter onto him, sheep onto CYC, will be resto-potted or trinketed or dispelled by our warlock. But unfortunately, EYB getting coiled there by Roomba. Slicey respawning 2, coming to assist. So right here, guys, the Alliance offense has come back to wipe our Horde team. So they are feeling very, very good right here. Taking down Flubber, Weatherman, and EYB. Damage now coming on to CYC. Our Tauren Shaman friend here has made the great choice of realizing this team is not going to be doing absolutely anything. The second he saw the Alliance offense coming back to wipe our push, he moved right back into the connector area, walked through the flag room, and now he's going to be on the roof. I am now typing in the chat. I will show you guys. I'm asking him if he has an invis trinket or an invis potion. Unfortunately, there we do press our T key, which is our prep, because we mistype, make a little bit of a typo on the word trinket. Not a worry though. We get the call from CYC, who's going to be in the tunnel. We check his position to get a sap onto Slicey. Cheap shot now onto Parla. Remember, CYC is walking up the tunnel area now. The Alliance team felt so safe right here. Shaman is going to be in this invis trinket right now, casting onto him. We see the invis trinket. We're going to kidney him. On top of that, EM comes down. Sapper comes out. Swap the weapon off. Boom. There is the big frag onto the boys with a follow-up fear from CYC onto Parla and Slicey, and that is the potency of the creative plays. It doesn't matter if you have a level 48 dagger. All you need is a shaman, an invis trinket, and a bit of brain, and you can catch out anyone with a bit of a mind game from the positioning right there. So the Alliance team, they felt so safe because their offense came back to wipe us. But our Tauren Shaman friend and CYC connecting late in the tunnel area manages to catch out this team. We get a nice tap onto Slicey. Cheap shot onto Parla, follow-up fear from CYC into the huge damage from the invis trinket from our Shaman, and down the Alliance team goes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That is going to be it for today. There will be another video tomorrow. Once again, do let me know what you think if you do like this kind of stuff, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Have a great day, night, morning, wherever you are. Peace.